Welcome to Fun with That. I'm Alex Villa, and in this channel we explore interesting stuff about causal inference. This video is for those of you that you don't know what causal inference is. You may have heard about it, maybe yes, maybe not. But the idea of this video is to grasp what can you do with it. Okay. We will see a typical application of causal inference, and we will see it through a real life example. So I have a friend, okay? She's been using one of those dating apps, and she's meeting with many guys. But nowadays she's seeing two guys at the same time. You know who you are. And she likes them both. One is called Gerau, and the other one he's called Sunifred. Okay. If you haven't heard these kind of names, it's because you are a normal person. These are like medieval Catalan names. I don't know, maybe she has a fetish for this kind of names. I don't know. I don't judge it. If she's happy with that, I'm happy with that. But she's been seeing both of them for a while, and now she started to feel uncomfortable. Okay, and she wants to pick one. So one day we were talking, and she explained to me the whole story, and she asked me what would I do, and I would do what everyone would do in this situation, which is applying causal inference. In the causal problem, the first step is always trying to understand the problem as good as possible. In this case, she felt that Gerau he's a little bit more mature, even a little bit more serious, and she kind of liked that. On the other hand, she had lots of fun with Sunifred, and he made her laugh a lot. Being an expert on causal inference myself, I know that we need to understand it better. We need to go deeper. And the important part here is asking questions. Why does she like them? In which situations she met with them? And as a general rule, we need to understand what other things are going on while she's meeting with them. Okay? This idea of simultaneous factors. When she meets with Gerau, the world is typically in one form, and when she meets with Sunifred, the world is another. It turns out that she meets with Gerau mostly during weekdays. Sometimes on weekends, but it's not the general rule. And on the other hand, she tends to meet with Sunifred more during weekends. Again, also maybe a little bit during weekdays, but mostly during the weekends. So you can imagine that the situations are very different, okay? And the reasons why she's having more fun or less, it depends also on the context. Let's see how she spends the time with them. This table shows how she spends the time with her lovers. You can see that with Gerau, she meets mostly during weekdays. Okay, 90% of the times that she meets with him, it's during weekdays, and only 10% it's during weekends. On the other hand, Sunifred, it's the opposite. She meets with him during weekends, mostly, and then she meets during also weekends 20% of the time. Now, if we want to understand what makes her happy, we need to give them a happiness score to each one that measures when she meets with them how happy she is. Putting a score to them is a little bit trickier. You can see that she likes more meeting with Gerau during the weekends, and actually she also likes more meeting with Sunifred during the weekends. It's both scores are higher than weekdays, but with Grau she usually meets during weekdays. Okay, there's a huge difference with Sunifred between during meeting with him during weekdays and weekends. The difference it's larger than it is with Grau. Now, she's confused because she thought that the main factor in her happiness is who she met with. But she realized that the day of the week plays a very relevant role. In causal inference jargon, we say that the day of the week plays the role of a confounder. Now you get this is confused thing. A confounder is a common factor between the decision and the outcome that we want to analyze. The decision in this case is who she meets with, and the outcome is her happiness. Let's see why the day of the week is a confounder. A confounder is a variable that affects both the decision variable and the outcome. In this case, before deciding who to meet with, she needs to know their availability. And this comes from knowing the day of the week. For this reason, the day of the week affects who she meets with. At the same time, the day of the week affects her mood, her free time, what activities she can do, etc. So the day of the week affects also her happiness. You can see that the day of the week affects both of them. Confounder is probably the best name in causal inference because it can really confuse you. She doesn't know now whether she's happy due to the lover or due to the day of the week. Let's now start our analysis. Remember, the goal is to answer who she should choose if she had to pick only one. We will start by analyzing the current situation. Then we will move into a more hypothetical situation in which she only has one lover. Her current level of happiness can be calculated as follows. We need to multiply the score by how often it happened. Okay, so in this case with Gerau, she was a 7.2 happy multiplied by 90% of the time, okay, due to weekdays, and 7.8 10% of the time due to weekends. In total, it's 7.2, okay? Doing the same calculation, we can see that Sunifred has a higher rating, which means that she's happier now more with Sunifred than Gerau. However, this is a kind of unfair comparison because she's meeting with Gerau during weekdays, which is not as much fun as meeting during the weekends, which is mostly when she meets with Sunifred. By the way, I know what you're thinking. There are no confidence intervals here, okay? I know that every time confidence intervals are omitted, a statistician dies inside, but for now, let's keep it simple. Now let's calculate how happy she will be by just meeting one. The key idea is that if she's planning to pick just one, she will be with him all week long. So these frequencies that we've used are not valid anymore. To calculate her level of happiness, if she just pick one, we need to plug in the corresponding meeting frequencies. 5 out of 7 for the weekdays and 2 out of 7 for the weekends. So if she stays only with Gerau during all the week, she will get a 7.4, while if she stays with Sunifred, she will get a 7.1. This alternative calculation is called adjustment formula and plays a very relevant role in causal inference to estimate the impact of a decision. Staying only with one of them has never happened, but with this data we can simulate what would that be? This is the main point in causal inference. You're asking what would happen in a situation that has not happened yet. Notice how different conclusions are from the first analysis to the second. In the first one, Sunifred was the one, while in this one, in the second one, Guerau is the chosen one, which are totally opposed. This situation is called Simpson's paradox, and it happens from time to time. To summarize, it seems that if she plans to stay with only one, Guerau should be the chosen. So she liked my analysis. It's very clear and insightful. But then she started reconsidering what she wanted. And she started asking, but do I really need to pick one? So we all know where she's headed. She's a little bit naughty, and she wants to go for heterogeneous treatment effects. We're usually interested in heterogeneous treatment effects when we want to apply different policies in different scenarios. For her, this would mean meeting Guerau during the weekdays and meeting Sunifred during the weekends. At this point, I think that she should talk to them. Okay, maybe they would find an arrangement that suits everyone, or maybe they become a throuple. Who knows? Let's end this video with the two main ideas that I would like you to take home. The first one is that causal inference is about evaluating decisions. It's about making what-if questions. What would happen if I do this? What would happen if I do that? And we usually want to answer these questions based on the data that we observe, on the historical data that we have, the things that we know from the past. The second point is that you always need to think about what other things are happening at the same time as my decision. In this case, she was meeting the guys in different days, and that was really relevant. The crucial point here is that these other factors that happening at the same time may be even more relevant for your outcome than the decision that you're evaluating. This video is dedicated to my friend